Hello, Nate. Welcome to Unscene show again. This is the second time we're
Hey,
trying to
Erik.
shoot this, but that's fine. So, introduce yourself to the people. Let them know who you are, what you do, and yeah.
Cool. I'm Nate George. I started Fenrock, the climate center behind us. Serial entrepreneur, and I guess now kind of semi-retired.
Early as well. How old are you?
38.
Retired at 38, eh? That's the dream, no?
Yeah, just having fun, doing what I enjoy doing, and yeah, just having fun with life, really.
So, how did you get into rock climbing?
I used to gym quite a lot,
Mm.
and it was quite like I was going 3-4 times a week, and found I was plateauing and just getting really bored of the same kind of grind. My brother suggested that I should try rock climbing, bouldering specifically. So bouldering is rock climbing, but only on 4.5 meter walls. There's no ropes or harnesses, and honestly, at the start, I thought it was kind of naff because I thought rock climbing you needed to go high. And I tried it in a place called the Climbing Academy in Bristol, where I was living at the time, and just fell in love with it. It's like a total mental clarity. Your feet leave the floor and everything else just goes away. It's like puzzle solving, strength based. And then after a couple of months, I just realized I was in better shape than I ever had been in the gym as well. And yeah, just
So
kind of
then
grew from there.
you trained and you decided you want your own gym. That's how much you fell in love with rock climbing.
Yeah, it's like everyone talks about it. Like you go climbing and everyone talks about starting their own climbing center. I think actually I was in Fontainebleau in France, which is like a big climbing mecca just outside Paris. And a big group we were with there was talking about starting a climbing center. And then a couple of years went by and nobody had done it. And I was running a computer company at the time, so I'd had a couple of startups under my belt. And then, yeah, I came back to here to look after family, to Wisbech, and there was no climbing nearby. I thought, why not have a go? Like,
Sure.
so I started in a little tiny barn, not this site, but a much smaller site.
I remember it.
You remember
Outwell, yeah?
in Outwell? Yeah, it's like 4,000 square feet. When we moved in, there was no electricity. It was like, yeah, it was like a little tiny barn, really.
Nice.
And we invited people along, and it grew and grew. And we moved to this bigger site. This is 8,000 square feet in 2021, before COVID. And it just keeps growing bigger and bigger all the time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, when I saw it the first time, that was literally like COVID, post-COVID, like COVID-ish
Yeah.
time. I found out about this place. And there was like not as many people as there now. And it's just every time I come back here, there's
Yeah.
more and more people, new faces constantly. And it's also expanding.
Yeah.
People will see that in the cinematics because
Yeah.
it's shame we don't have nice shots of it being before and after. Maybe you have some.
I've got a few photos of when we were building it, like way
maybe
before.
we'll put it in because that would be insane. Because from where it was and what it is now is like crazy.
Yeah,
It's
we don't
absolutely
stand
insane.
still. We're
Oh, for
always
sure.
looking to build something new, and build a community and try and do new things and just change. I think climbing's becoming very commercial now, so we're trying to do things differently here.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's what I think makes Fenrock different. And I don't know how you do it, but you made Fenrock feel like a home. So anyone, even if they're coming here first time, you don't feel awkward. You don't feel like an outcast. You come in
Yeah.
and it's like you kind of greeted with hands open kind of
Oh, it's
thing.
nice to
I don't know how you do that though. That's the thing. There's something about it.
I think that's because it is our home. Both Amanda and I, who run it, we treat it like our home. We don't really have a very low cost of living. We don't really like flashy things or going out or doing anything like that. We really like climbing, and we want everyone to kind of experience. So we treat it like. Yeah, so we treat it like a house. We treat everywhere. This is the things we like, and you'll see things that we enjoy and that we like kind of brought in. So we have a really good board game selection. We've got really good coffee. We've got great climbing. We invest nearly all the money straight back into the business to just things that we enjoy doing. So it's close onto our doorstep.
Well, the first time when I came here, I knew nothing about climbing. Nothing. Like literally nothing. I come from a free running / gym background. Like I don't know how to climb properly. And even though when I was failing, literally the whole community here just will come and they will like give you tips, help you. Same like you and Amanda were giving me tips constantly every time I would fail or something. Oh, try this, try that. So it's like you become the part of community literally from the first day.
And that's the biggest thing we try and do. I think that it sounds it sounds strange, but we try and instigate that between people. So if somebody comes in that we maybe know is a mechanic, and then somebody else comes in and we know they're into cars, we'll introduce those people on the mats, and trying to build that community and network people. I mean, it's all about networking. And I think when the centers grow bigger and they become, some centers are having 500-600 people a day going through now. It's really boomed. I think it's very hard to keep that community vibe going constantly now.
For sure. Well, a lot of gyms that I've been to, which are rock climbing as well, when you come into there, you feel very disconnected from the staff, from the people, because I feel it's a bit more like people come there and they stay in the little groups. It's very commercial feel. You don't feel like you're a part of a community. And I think rock climbing in general, from what I've seen, because it's a different sport. It's not like any other sport. It has this own kind of niche. So I think people are really close in it. And I think it's like here, it's very nice that everyone's just talking and learning together. So it's
and we are really open planned as well. We're probably one of the most open planned centers that I know about in the country. And that was on purpose. So if you're climbing on one side of the center, you can still see people on the other side. So you can't kind of hide away in little groups. It forces that social element to it. And we're just open. We're open and honest. We let anybody in. We don't do any kind of special nights for anything. We do like club nights and UV nights and parties.
I was gonna say you do UV nights.
We do UV nights.
Crazy.
We have parties. We have like barbecues. But we don't have any kind of like specific sector nights. It's just everyone is welcome all the time, and we try and create that vibe for people.
I think that's what makes it a bit more homey, because you do like UV nights, you do the barbecue place things. You people come with their dogs and just chill here. It's like it becomes just like literally a place to chill, not just to climb. So
that's what we try. Like we've got loads of board games today, and on the weekends the cafe's quite big. So the weekends you'll come in, there'll be people climbing, people playing Magic the Gathering and Carcassonne and all these board games. So the cafe's full of board gamers. And then you've got climbers, and you've got table tennis, and it's like people in the gym working out. It's like, I think if you were to walk in for a first time and have no idea what to expect, it might be a bit overwhelming because there's just so much going on. But we try and give something for everyone. So like the table tennis, if you bring your family in and you find one of your children doesn't enjoy climbing, they can play table tennis.
Yeah.
You can sit down and have a board game with one parent while the other kid goes and climbs. And I think trying to give that element is really important to us.
No, definitely. There's a lot of things to do here. Even if, for example, you got the membership in here, you're injured and you can't climb, you can still come, and there's things to do. Even if you just want to hang out with people, like you say, play table tennis or play chess or whatever, or just go to the gym and do, train the muscles that are not injured.
We have a lot of people come in today. They literally just come in for a coffee. They'll come in on their rest day. They'll be like, I climbed on Monday, but Tuesday I'm going to go and have a coffee and just sit on the mats and chat to people.
That's what I used to do as well. When I would have a day off, I would come for a coffee, because coffee is amazing. And spoiler alert, they have their own coffee, and they made his own coffee.
Yeah, we have our own coffee.
How did you get into that as well? Like, because that came out of nowhere.
It was.
I was at the center. I was like, oh, I'm making my own coffee. I'm like, what?
Well, I think like as one of those parts of being a bit like neurodivergent, I've only really noticed that as I've got older. Not everybody does things like this, has an idea and runs with it at full speed, no matter what it is. But that was literally, we really like coffee, and we were buying just a standard kind of off-the-shelf beans. And we really wanted to up our game. And we wanted to stay local. So we looked around for a local supplier for coffee beans and a local roaster. We found a company called Tropic, which is only about 15 miles away. They import beans from sources that they can certify. They bring them in. I went and spoke to them, had a full coffee tasting.
I love coffee that day, hey?
Dude, honestly, we didn't realize you're not meant to drink it all. So Amanda and I, they were doing double flat whites. And we must have sampled probably 15 coffees. Dude, I thought I was going to end up in hospital. It was a real
No, that can take you to the hospital.
It was after a while, and the guy David, who was showing us around, was like, you don't have to drink everything. And both we were like, oh really? Hands are twitching, our hearts are fluttering.
You didn't want to be disrespectful.
Exactly, we just couldn't drink it all. It was really good coffee as well. We had I know we had a single origins, so it's a single bean from a single area. So it'll be like Hawaiian Kona, or it could be Brazilian Ipanema. And that's like a single origin, not a blend. All about medium roast. So we tried all those and then got really high on coffee, really. But after that, we found our 6 best ones, I think it was. And then we brought those 6 in for single origins in the center. And we used to rotate through the single origins. People could choose what they wanted. We found a flavor profile that worked with our customers. And then I actually used AI to help me from that point. GPT had just come out. So I made a few blends that I liked out of the single origins with the percentages, and then ran that through AI to then work out if those percentages and those blends would go well within a consumer market. And that came back with essentially 3 blends that it thought would work from the information I'd given it. I took those 3 blends to the guys at Tropic, and then we refined that even further from the base, and ended up with 3 blends, which are different flavor profiles.
Yeah. Dynamite, Rocky Road,
nearly
some.
Oh, you're close, man. Dynamite.
Yeah,
that's our non-polarizing, straight down the middle.
Yeah.
Fan favorite. And we've got Sunrise Summit, which is really citrusy. So that's quite fruity and citrusy, and it's a bit sharp, really bright. And then we've got Nutty Trails, which is a bit more bitter and a bit darker.
I think I've tried the Nutty Trails. I enjoyed it. That was really nice.
Yeah, we find like everyone likes Dynamite, and the other two are depending on like your flavor type. But yeah, it's really, then we started bagging it and selling it, and then so random business that seems to take off.
Spoiler alert: Nate is owner of a gym, owner of a coffee company, owner of a game card company. He did also other projects that we're not going to talk about today, but other projects, and he's getting into more stuff. Clothing. What else is there?
I've done
computing. You've done before.
Yeah, I've done computing. So I ran a computer engineering company. Really, we made the little clips that hold the cables together and make them neat. We were one of the first to make those, and the hard tubing and water cooling. We were the first to do that as well.
So you basically all around entrepreneur. Literally, you got so many things you're into, so many baskets you're
just if I enjoy it. Really, it is just if I find it fun and I enjoy it, I just go head first into it.
But that's what I find amazing about you, because even though you got your own center and you got all of those things going on, you still find more things to do, and you find time, and you still put full effort into it. And every time we talk, I'm like, oh, you're doing this and this. I'm like, where do you get all this strength? Where do you get like all this, motivation to keep going? Because it's just so much going on constantly.
I think it sounds really weird, but I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't busy. It terrifies me being still and not moving. I've always been busy. I've always been active. I've always been doing things mentally. And I find if I'm not busy, my mental health suffers really badly. I have to be occupied all the time. And if I haven't got a passion project, or I haven't got a project that I'm working on, I kind of spiral out really fast. So
I'm a bit like that as well. I feel like once I get a bit too much free time, or like there's nothing going on, I'm like, oh, I'm wasting time. Like I need to be going on. It's like just something there. It's just like
you only get one life. That's the thing. Like I think randomly, like recently, over the last like year and a half, 2 years, I'm getting closer to 40 now. So I kind of start reflecting a bit on life. I think I've started to realize that like money can only solve money problems. And you can quickly fix all those problems, but you still got other problems. So, and stuff is just stuff. You know, you get more money, you buy more stuff, and it's a loop that never ends. You buy more expensive stuff, you get more money, you buy more expensive stuff. Whereas actually slowing down and playing board games with friends and enjoying climbing, that has brought me more happiness than I think anything else. And starting new projects has been way more happiness than ever buying anything. And I think that change in mindset is how I can keep going, because it's not now driven by money. I don't want to make money, really. I just want to have fun doing these projects, which makes it way easier to get up in the morning and go and start something new.
I think money in general is a really bad motivator. It's not going to really keep you going that far, because once you earn a bit more, you will constantly, first of all, you will never have enough. You'll always want more, more. And then at the end you realize, well, you can't buy everything. And it's like, it's just...
and there'll always be something that's more expensive. Like you buy a watch and then there's a more expensive watch. You buy clothes that's more expensive. But you're never going to buy everything.
So true.
I think it's really easy to, especially through your 20s, to get sucked into that mentality of that will make me happy.
I think a lot of people are raised like that as well. So I think it's just, you go, so I don't know how it is in your culture, because obviously we're from different countries. But in my culture, everything is about money. Like my parents are constantly, it's about money. It's about having a nice car, having a nice this, that. And I was like, that's not really what makes you happy.
No, I think it's very similar in this culture as well. I think it's changing, especially with that kind. You've got the 20-year-olds that are kind of doing their coaching courses and their self, they've got that element of it. But I think there's a lot more people that are choosing to go in like van life, or they're choosing to go off grid, or that are realizing that they can survive on less and have more time. Because that is, at the end of the day, that's the only thing that really matters, isn't it? You have more money, so you have more time. And if you have less expensive stuff, you have more time.
Yep, true. Well, that's how I kind of got into my van life. So initially, I was living in London and we're paying crazy money. We pay something about like 1.7 thousand a month for a 1-bedroom flat, and it was 3 of us living in there. Yeah. So I was like, this is ridiculous. All I do is just sleep there. Over time, I'm like working, grinding, whatever I'm doing. So then I moved into a car, and I lived in a car for.
I remember you said.
Yeah, I lived there for a year.
But not even a van; it was a car. Wasn't it?
Before I got this, that's how I got into it, because I lived in the car with no shower, nothing. So I had to go to the gym to take shower, find toilet wherever, whatever. And then I was like, oh, actually, I don't need. All the fancy house. I don't need that.
Yeah.
You can live on the most minimal thing ever. And then I was like, oh, how can I expand on that? And that's when I go into the van life. So then I was like, oh, I'll get a van. Now I'm going to have shower. I'm going to have proper bed, kitchen. And it
feels like a luxury.
Yeah, that's the thing. You need to feel the
I think that's the important thing. I mean, we didn't live in a car, but we had a family of 4. Yeah. We moved from a 3-bed house to we got a quick rental because we had to find somewhere to live. And we ended up in a 6-bed, huge house, which was lovely. But then we moved from there into a 2-bed bungalow. So he's downsized massively. Cost of living went right down. And we thought it was going to be for a few weeks, maybe a month or 2. And we lived there for 2 years. And I think that changed the whole family's mindset so much, because we were actually happy. The kids were happy. We were happy. We were on top of each other. We had one toilet. That was I always said I could never live anywhere with one toilet. A family of 4 in a bungalow with one toilet, and it wasn't even a closed door; it slid backwards and forwards. But we had 2 years, and we were happy. And I think that you don't expect to be happy with so little. I think when you have been, you realize you don't need everything, and the most happiness comes from having more time.
Oh yeah, definitely having more time, having good relationships, like with people in general, friends, and that, because. Also, I realize if you're alone, and I find times where I'm like grinding and I'm not seeing people around, I'll be, oh, why am I feeling depressed now, even though everything is good? Because you miss the connection between people. So I think that's really important.
And that's easy to do now. It's like social media, and we've been on the computer. It's so easy to just cut in and out of conversations. And you realize you haven't actually seen a real person for 3 or 4 days because you've just been texting people.
Yep. And it gets quite bad now. If you meet someone in person, you'll be talking and then you pull your phone out and the person will be scrolling and you're like, oh, hang on, what's going on here? It's like, and it's like, like, what did I just say? It's like, yeah. And it's like,
see, I check myself on that massively. I'll often if I start a conversation, like when we talk, if I'm in here and somebody comes over for a chat, I'll just turn my phone on silent. So I don't even think about answering it because I feel like we're in this world, especially teenagers, like my daughter will always just pick her phone up. As soon as it buzzes, and I think she had like 200 notifications an hour, and she's not alone. That's virtually every teenager in the world, and I think that can't be good for their mental health going forwards. If you're being pinged 200 times an hour,
and you turn your head 200, then you take your attention away from whatever you're doing.
It can't be good. Can't be good.
I read this book called Stolen Focus, and he talks about how often we check our notifications on the phone. He did like a whole study, and he explained how, let's say you're focusing on reading or you're focusing whatever you're doing, editing, whatever. If you get a ping on your phone and you take your attention there, it's actually really hard for brain to recalibrate for the phone message and then go back to editing. He's never going to be as focused as he was initially. So you lose the sweet spot of focus if you do that. So now imagine you're doing that constantly. So
I think like about 2 or 3 days ago, I forgot my phone. Left it at home. I came in and I thought, no, fuck it. Can I swear?
Yeah.
I thought, fuck it. I'm not going to bring my phone. I'm not going to get it. I'm going to try a day. It was one of the best days I've had. Honestly, like it was so liberating just not having it. I thought, I'm here. If somebody needs me, they can call Fenrock. They know I'm here. It felt amazing.
Well, I had an issue with scrolling. So maybe just under a year ago, I went onto the digital well-being thing on my phone, and I checked how much hours I spent on my phone, and I was like 4.5 on YouTube, 3.5 on Instagram. That was one, like if I would have like a day where I'm not working, and also like a free day, and I'm like, holy crap, I just spent like 7.5, 8 hours on the phone,
Just
this.
doom scrolling.
And the same day, on one of the reels, a guy said, what was the last 5 videos you just saw? And I couldn't remember. And I'm like, what? This 7.5 hours is just gone from my life. I don't even remember what I watched.
Yeah.
So then I so now I have app limits. So I go like half an hour on YouTube, half an hour on Instagram.
Yeah.
And funny thing, it took me a while to adjust, but now I don't even run out of it. So usually by the end of the day, I'll have another 10 minutes left around.
Yeah.
So
I did like, I moved my icons as well.
Oh yeah.
Every couple of months, I move my icons to somewhere else on the screen, because you'll find that you get into the habit of, you load your phone, you press the button, and it loads up. And I move the icon, and I find I'm picking my phone up, I'm loading up, and I'm like, why am I in emails? I wasn't even thinking about going to Instagram. It was just a natural pick it up, press the button, and you break that reflex. I think it's really important.
I have the same in the gym. If I'll be in the gym and in between rest, like in between sets, I'll be resting, and instead of just resting, I'll pick up my phone, I'll open my phone. Like, what am I doing?
Why do I need to see this? It's not.
It's like every time I check it like 5 times, like, but there's nothing there. It's like just music playing, and it's pretty bad in that regard. But going back to Fenrock, I just wanted to touch on a few things. What hardships did you have opening? Because obviously it's a big business and now it's thriving and there's so much people, but obviously there was ups and downs like any other business. What was like the hardships and like?
Not having any staff, really.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really fortunate, and I always expect starting a company is going to be shit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that thinks being a business owner or an entrepreneur or a company founder or a CEO is easy or is fun, it's like, it's really not. It's like, it's hard. And Fenrock was my 3rd business. So I was expecting it to be crap, but it was in a sport that I enjoyed. So I didn't really find anything hard, if it makes sense, because I was expecting it. Mm-hmm. So nothing came out of the blue. The hardest part was not having staff. So I think originally when I started it in 2016, I think I worked 364 days straight, 8 to 10 hours a day. Some days were 15 hours, some days were minimum of 8 because that's the opening hours. I think I worked Christmas Day as well. We did 3 sessions. Any first session was free to bring the area's got no climbing, so we had to build a community. So we did like free climbing, so anyone could literally walk in and climb for free.
Damn.
And I would teach them for nearly a year, just over a year. So not having the staff, and that was at the same time as then having to take all the holds off the wall, wash all the holds all through winter. Like, you'd wash the holds and they'd freeze, so you then had to dry the holds. And there was no heating in the warehouse. Like, if you remember it being cold, but
oh my days.
There was no heating, so sometimes it'd be like -4, so you'd be sitting there in a down jacket at -4. Sometimes you might only get one person for the whole day arrive. And just think, what am I doing? Like,
and those moments you think, am I even doing the right thing?
Yeah. But yeah, that was really the hardship. That was it. That was being there all day, every day.
So how did you deal? Because obviously you probably burned out. How did you deal with all the burnout? How did you deal with all the like?
Yeah,
was it just the motivation? Like, did you have like a vision like of how, like what it can be?
I knew I wanted to get to,
mm-hmm.
and whenever I get burned out doing this, I think about the alternative.
Okay.
And I think, well, would I like to be working for somebody else? Would I like to be stacking shelves? Would I like to be watching a line on a factory? Would I like to be driving an Amazon delivery lorry? And I go through all these jobs, and I think, when I look at all the alternatives, I start to realize how great actually being like this is. Like we're working now. Like, this is my job. I'm building a climbing center. I'm chatting to you.
Yeah.
And if I was working in a factory, this wouldn't happen. You know, I can go for food when I want. I can get a drink when I want. You know,
the rewards are bigger than the hardships, I would say. But it's hard to go through the hardships, even with my business. I'm not as big as you in my business, but now that my business also picked up a bit, I start realizing that there's really hard times, and then those hard times are the hardest to keep going.
Yeah.
But if you do, the reward is amazing in the end.
I think the hard times, though, is to say, if you get no clients, no one turns up, and something breaks, loads of financial burdens come on, that still feels better than waking up at 7:30 in the morning, driving for an hour and a half to sit somewhere
for someone
for 8 hours, to drive an hour and a half home, to do it every day, Monday to Friday.
Yeah, I've done 9 to 5 jobs quite a bit, and you wake up and you like, you just hate it.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a single time where I woke up to do my thing and I hated it. I was tired
and stressed. Yeah.
But it wasn't a feeling like, I cannot be bothered. Yeah. It's
and things once you lived in the van or lived in a little bungalow, the element of failure becomes way less scary.
Oh yeah.
Because you're like, what's the worst that can happen? I have to move back to a bungalow.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually really good. I didn't mind that. So, and that's the worst. Like, and all of a sudden, once you take away the element of money, because money comes and goes, it's liquid. Mm-hmm. Once you take away the element of money, all of a sudden, then it isn't about making money, and it's just about enjoying the ride. And if it all fails, you could just start something else, or you could go and get a job working somewhere else in a factory.
Yeah, you always have that.
And that's the worst scenario is that. And I think then it lets you actually keep pushing forwards. I think I saw something recently on one of the social medias, and it was nothing is ever as urgent as you think it is.
Oh yeah, that's so true.
And I was like, it's true. One of those moments you step back and you think, wow, there's been times when I've really, really worried and freaked out about something. Mm-hmm. And actually, it could have waited an hour or a day.
Yep.
It didn't change anything, me rushing in to get it done.
100%. I think I had those impulsive choices done as well. It's I think everyone goes through that at some point, even if they do 9 to 5 job or whatever. Just in general in life, those things happen and people have to choose that.
Yeah.
So have you ever thought about expanding and like going different sounds with Fenrock?
Yeah, we have. Actually, so I started Fenrock in 2016. I brought on a member of staff, and then he eventually bought in, and then we parted ways. But during the parting ways period, if it hadn't have ended up with myself and Amanda taking over, I think we probably would have expanded then. But at that point, I was a lot more driven. And as time's gone on, we've now settled into this one site. And as it's getting busier and busier and the community's building, I don't know if I would ever build another site now. Wow. Also, the finances, like you used to be able to build a center for 30 to 50,000. And now I think you'd need 500,000 to even break. It's gone so big now.
Wow.
So I don't think you'd really build one under 500,000 now.
A decent one.
Even a cheap one. I mean, when we built this place, ply was £18 a sheet, and now it's just under 35 if you buy it in bulk.
Yeah, that makes
even
sense.
Importing direct in from Asia is still expensive. And it's just changed so much. Even climbing holds now, like an average price for some of the big routes on there now is £1,000 to £1,500 for the big routes, and there's a lot of holds on the wall. It's a big center. So if you go again and scale it up again, you're just going more and more. Mm-hmm. The coffee machine's like £5,000-6,000. So
adds up
very fast. They're all big ticket items to have the same kind of environment that people expect from a climbing center now.
Sure.
And we've built it up over the last 5 or 6 years to buy all in straight away, one hit. So I don't know if it's really worth financially expanding into other centers.
I see.
Franchising might be a better way to expand the business model. We've got a really good way that the center runs and a good ethos. So taking the name and then expanding to other centers would probably be a better way.
Would you go another city, completely different towns, or would you stay within the area?
Yeah, I think I'd spread out. If it came to it and somebody wanted to start a center and they wanted our expertise and to use our branding, I'd probably spread out to another city so we don't have any conflict of interest in the area.
How would you control so it's the same vibe, so it wouldn't become too commercial?
I think it'd be same like McDonald's, Domino's.
Yeah.
You go to a Domino's here, it's the same as Domino's there. I think if you have a very good like branding handbook, you have very good guidelines on what you expect, how staff should talk, a good center for training, I think you can have a decent franchise model that goes out and people get the same feeling anywhere they go.
No,
So that would be the only way I'd really look out.
I think that would be a good way to go about it, because if you franchise, like you said, then hopefully it is the same vibe. And because this is like the vibe here is very unique.
Yeah.
And I think people love the center. The equipment is good, but the vibe, I think that's what sells it the most.
People travel for it.
Yeah. I mean, I traveled 3.5 hours.
That's the thing. Like, you've got people that will come Monday to Friday as our regulars that live locally. Because if people don't know Wisbech, we're a population of 30,000.
And Wisbech hasn't got the best
the best reputation. It's the heart of the Fens, though. So it's no. It's
a black heart.
Yeah, it's not it hasn't got the most. It hasn't got any funding really.
Yeah.
It's kind of a town that's forgotten about.
Well, I was really surprised when I heard about Fenrock in Wisbech, because obviously I grew up here and I know this town literally all in and outs, but I would never expect something like this being open here and also being successful, because the people who actually live in Wisbech are not really rock climbers or anything mildly close to it. So for context, it's a factory city. It's mainly
like an old market town.
Yeah, and there's also mainly people come here to work in the factories.
Yeah,
they're really not interested.
And the fields.
And fields, yeah. So it's not. And it's not a city; it's a town.
Yeah,
so it's 30,000 people. It's not big at all.
It's tiny. For like we've got other cities with climbing centers. Most other places have 100 to 200,000 population minimum before they'll even consider opening a center.
Yeah.
So
whereas here you got 30,000, but you're packed every day.
Yeah.
But people come from Peterborough, Kings Lynn,
Cambridge. Yeah, and then on the weekends we have people traveling from Sheffield. We've got people driving an hour and a half, 2 hours to come and see us on the weekends.
Amazing. Yeah, that's definitely incredible, because you don't see that often with like, if you look at other gyms, it's usually just the city that they're in. But here you literally got everyone, and you meet cool people. You go, oh, I'm from Bristol, and then you like go see the guy in Bristol, and you go climb together and things like that. So
I think it's like I try and liken it to like a theme park or an experience day. People will travel for that experience. They might not be there every day, but they will travel for it. Like Jeremy Clarkson's Diddley Squat Farm, middle of nowhere. Rammed. It's so busy because it's Jeremy Clarkson's farm and it's an experience. People want to go there. I think if you treat this like that, we're in the middle of nowhere, but we have got good parking. We have got an experience you're not going to get anywhere else really in the country.
For sure.
So on a Saturday or Sunday, it's worth the drive to come and experience what we have. And we try and build on that constantly.
And it's also nice because even if, for example, parents bring their kids over, while the parents wait while the kids climb, they can have coffee. Yeah. They can, read a magazine. They can do whatever, chat to people. So that's also very nice, rather than them just sitting and kind of just watching. They have things to do, and they just,
we try and make it a whole day. And in the summer, we're bringing in in the summer, we're doing kitchen. So we're going to be having all the food. So just finished putting all the stainless steel in.
Who's going to be the chef?
So not me. No.
I was going to say.
I joked with Amanda recently. I was like, if we get a chef, it's our private chef. So then we can come in at any point and just get food. Nice. It's like a life hack, isn't it? It's like build a business where there's a chef.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say is different about rock climbing than any other sports? Because there's just something about it that is, I don't know, it's just different. It's even the community, just in general, because I find it very similar to skating, free running. It has this similar vibe, like the freedom aspect of it, I think. But I'm not sure.
To any other sport.
Yeah. So like, even take gym, like boxing. It's just different. I don't know. Rock climbing.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of the community and the clarity it gives you mentally. I haven't found another sport that, other than jiu-jitsu, that's another one, but that clears my head as well once I'm doing it. A lot of other sports, I can think about other things, whereas with climbing, as soon as if I leave the floor, my mind completely clears. I'm just thinking about moving forwards and about hitting the floor.
And I suppose that's the addictive aspect of the sport, because people go crazy lengths for it. People live in tents just to go climb. Yeah. I watched this movie the other day. I forgot the name of it, but the guy literally just moved out to forest somewhere middle of nowhere, and he lived there just to be able to climb. Yeah. And he was living a little hut, just to climb.
Because it gives you this clarity. Like, if you do anything wrong, you could either die if you're doing rope climbing or free soloing, or if you're bouldering, you're going to hit the floor. Yeah. And that focuses you so intently on what the task at hand is. And not to mention the problem solving. Like when you're doing a route, you have to work out the body movements to go from the bottom to the top. It's not just like a ladder. So focusing on that, it just clears your head so much. And the physical element, it's like doing a gym workout because you're hitting every muscle in the body, you're moving in weird ways. And then you get down from the wall and you've got the community and everybody crowding around and you can chat. I mean, like half the people that are in a climbing center are basically just sitting on the mats chatting.
Mm.
You do a route, you sit down, you have 5 minutes chat, you get back on the wall.
Yeah.
And that's not even mentioning going outdoors and having that entire other sector of the sport. It just, I think if somebody hasn't tried it, they should everybody in the world, I think, should give it a go.
Oh no, for sure. And I think it's a useful skill in general in life to have, because to be able to climb with your body weight, it's kind of essential for survival. You can put it that way.
Yeah, you did free running and like we've seen you on the bar. So you imagine that everybody can hang with their own body weight. You struggle to believe that somebody can't hang their own body weight.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's great. They come in here and you find, they can't. So we can make stuff easier, make it harder. We can tailor climbing to everybody. So it becomes open to everybody. And it's
also,
like a gateway
it's an eye opener for someone, because then maybe they're not aware like how they are physically, and if they can't handle their own body weight. Because I think in my perfect world, everyone should be able to handle their body weight.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we are with,
Yeah.
So I think rock climbing is definitely one of ways to test yourself for first thing, and then also learn from it, because you can go V1, which is nice and easy, and pretty much most people can do it. And then, you have V2 slightly higher, and it's a nice gradual levels. Because when I started, I was doing V2s, and I was like, I'm doing V2s. Yeah. But then I look at V3s and okay.
Yes.
And then you just keep going and keep going. And then you see the like V8s, V7s. You're like, okay, this is...
And it's humbling. You can be on a V3 and struggling.
Yeah.
And then some little kid just flies by it. And it's like, hang on a second. And you don't often get that in the gym. I find I was doing gym workouts and you hit a plateau and it's really hard to push the numbers higher. And to get there, I don't know if you've ever had it in the gym, but your numbers just kind of stagnate for ages. Whereas with climbing, it's always changing. It's always new. There's always a new thing to come and try. And you're climbing on there. And like I say, a kid will climb by you and it shows you it's possible. It shows you that it can be done. And you just realize that maybe your technique wasn't quite right or your hips weren't in the right place. And then you can always build on it. And they can, even if you're not building something that's inherently strength, you can build up your technique. You can build up everything. I don't know. I'd never found that in another sport.
Yeah, even for me, when I started climbing here, I've realized that I was good on the big holes because I could use my strength. I knew that I had strong arms and shoulders, and I was going through them. But as soon as it got to the little ones where I had to use my finger strength, I was like, there we go, V2s, and I'm falling off because I couldn't hold my weight on my fingers. Yeah. And I was training that, and then eventually get better. And
that takes a long time to build up, that finger strength. 100%. You see, like now, I mean, I've been climbing since 2012, so 12 years now. And I can now hang on like kind of a half a pad. But I now take that for granted. So I now forget that that's not normal.
Yeah.
And because most of the people that we hang around with can do the same kind of things. So we'll set routes and be like, that's not that hard. Yeah. And then we have to get other people to test it to kind of find out where it is on the grade scale. That's a really weird, actually. You forget how strong you are. I don't know if you've ever, like, when you tried to teach me front flips, like, I think to you, it was like, just do a front flip. And I was like,
wow, it's taken for granted.
It's really hard to do.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll do a flip and people go, it's so crazy. And to me, it's like, why are they doing that? It's like, it's so simple. But then you do forget it. And same, like, when I see you do like a V6, V7, to me, it's like godly. And then you're like, just a cup of coffee sipping. I'm like, okay, I see.
Yeah,
I see. It's just same thing in a different discipline, I would say. Okay. Obviously, you got a card game, which is specifically for rock climbing.
Yeah.
Which I never played it, or because I don't know any specific terms about rock climbing whatsoever. I just know how to climb to an extent.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate on the game and how it works? And
this is I had to learn it again because, as I was saying earlier, like being kind of on the spectrum, I get an idea and I just run with it, full steam ahead. And I wanted to develop a card game. I thought it'd be cool if we had a rock climbing card game. So very quickly I designed something and then found a manufacturer, made a prototype. And then within, I think, 6 weeks, we had about 2,000 units.
Oh, my God.
And that was just like a whirlwind. And then a pallet of cards arrived. And then we posted it on Reddit and about the card game. Yeah. And then I think we sold it on Kickstarter. And we were taking mailing sacks to the post office for this card game. And And then I just kind of did other stuff.
Yeah. But that's crazy because I remember you launching it, and then I remember you telling me, "Oh, I launched it," and then you had sales pretty much instantly.
Yeah.
Because you said you used Reddit, and then that kind of sparked off. And again, the rock climbing is a tight community.
Yeah.
I feel like if something new comes up, because I don't think there's any rock climbing games.
No, there was a few board games, but nothing really to speak of.
Yeah. Because I remember it went for you pretty smooth from get-go kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've had quite a long history in product development and branding, so I kind of got into it, and then I'm adamant on quality. It's one of my biggest things. So I found a really high GSM card, like a linen card, with linen card stock. This is all I had to learn. All this, I had no idea about playing cards, so I found all this out. Found what made good card stock. Found good quality printing. Found cello packets, and then got the templates from the supplier. Did all the designing and branding. Then just posted one post on Reddit and said to Reddit climbing, like, "Hey guys, I've made this game. Can anyone fancy having a look?" And then very quickly, it just snowballed. And then I had a history in e-commerce, so I made a quick website, and then it just made a Kickstarter and just went out of control.
That's crazy.
We sold loads. And then later this, I've got a few left. And then somebody asked me the other day how to play, and I had to remind myself how to play, because then then we made the coffee, and then we expanded the climbing center, and I worked in Web3 and AI for a bit. So I had to remind myself how to then play the card game. So I taught myself again, taught them, and I was like, actually, you know what? I can make this better.
Yeah.
I need to make an expansion deck. So I think in the summer, I'm going to make an expansion deck to improve the game. Anyone that bought one of the games, I'll ship them out an expansion deck.
Okay, interesting.
Or just like a new rule set or something like that.
That's pretty cool. It's like the Cards Against Humanity type of thing.
Yeah,
it just keeps expanding and adding.
Yeah, I think we can make it way better than what it is now. It was always meant to be just a really fun, easy game to play. 2 to 5 minute rounds. Kids can learn the climb and hold types. That was the idea. We can teach kids climbing, and then the adults can just have a fun game.
That's pretty cool. So you jump onto new things pretty instantly. Yeah. And you go full in.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the key to actually doing something? Because a lot of people they have an idea, but then they never started. Do you think that's because they just actually never started kind of thing?
Yeah.
You have to just
You'll never be ready.
You just have to just...
I think people wait for so long.
Yeah.
And they wait and prepare, and they wait until they're ready, and they keep waiting, and that time will never come. You'll never be ready to start it. You just have to start it.
So no matter even if you're not doing the greatest whatever financially, if you have the idea,
just go for it. If you can't afford it, find a way to do it with less money.
I think I agree with
Find a way to get the money. At least give it a try. You'll never know what could have happened if you don't even try.
Because I think a lot of people are just waiting. They're just waiting around for a miracle, for the perfect moment.
Because I think people see either successful people, or they see people that have in their mind become successful, and they think it's been luck, or they've started at the right time, or it's been a perfect storm. But inevitably it's just been they started and they tried hard.
Yeah.
And there's very few businesses and very few people that have failed that have tried hard constantly. I mean, really tried hard. I mean, you wake up and you're just constantly slogging at it. And if you have free time, you're working.
Yeah.
I think if you do that, it's very hard to fail. Very, very hard.
So what would you say for what type of people should get into entrepreneurship? Because it's a hard journey to become whatever. If you want to become owning a company or working for yourself, it's quite difficult.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a type of specific people that should be able to do it, or do you think it's for everyone, but they need to expect it kind of thing?
I think it's for everyone, but I think everybody can do it, but not everybody can do it forever. I think everybody should try it, but if you're not prepared to fail, you shouldn't start.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, it will fail. And there's not many successful entrepreneurs that have been successful on their first shot.
Yeah. For sure.
And if you don't take failure well, or you think you're going to miraculously just make it work straight away and have no hardships, it's probably not the journey for you.
It's a long day then.
It's a long day. And I think if you're happy, some people are happy doing a 9 to 5, no responsibility.
Of course. Oh yeah, for sure.
You can get a decent 6-figure salary now just working for somebody else.
But even if I think 9 to 5, putting money out of the equation, I think for a lot of people, they comfort the fact that they know that they're gonna get X amount of money. They're gonna have, they're gonna have work tomorrow. They just know what's happening. They know there's have holiday there, and it's gonna give them the mental calmness or whatever you want to call it, and they don't have to worry about it. So I think for some people it may work,
and that's enough for some people.
Oh, for sure.
It's never been enough for me. I've always felt a yearning to try something new and to do something different. And I think a lot of people, I almost envy them. I envy the people that can do a 9 to 5, come home, put on the TV, and not worry about just it. Chill. I'll go to the pub, have a beer with my friends, and that's their life. It's almost envy that.
I feel that as well, because sometimes it gets to me, and I'm like, how long is it until I'm satisfied with where I am? And it's like you just keep pushing, and even now I think I'm only at the start of my journey. And it's like, when is it gonna end, or is it ever gonna end?
Well, you're still young.
Yeah, well,
you're still still really young.
Yeah, well, but then you look at some people who are even younger than me, and they're way ahead in entrepreneurship.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing, is what is ahead? Is it having 8 figures in the bank?
No, I mean,
or is it being happy where they are?
I think it's more, in my mind, ahead is they have more experience. Maybe not necessarily they have more money or whatever. It's more they just had more experience. For example, if they started what I started, but they started when they were 20 and they have 6 years ahead of me, maybe they're still not where they want to be, but they have the 6 years of knowledge of failures and stuff. So that, to me, that's ahead. It's like they've done more in the time. So, because currently I do some stupid mistakes with my business, for example, and I'm like, and it's like, people, if I was started earlier, I probably would go through it earlier.
But I think it seems to be this weird misconception that everybody knows what they're doing. Oh, nobody has a clue. Nobody knows
because of social media, though.
Yeah, probably.
Because everyone sees the perfect social media. Because you will never post your tough times on social media. People post their best times. So then it gives you that false image that everyone's have it easy.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you feel like, it's like, I'm an idiot,
It's hard. It's really fucking hard. Like you try and it fails, and you try and it fails, and you try and it fails, you try and it works. Like, okay, well, I'll do more of that.
Yeah.
And then you try and it fails. It just repeats it. And for every 10 failures, something works. And then you just keep doing that. And then you just add that to the thing of things that work. But it's hard. It's a really hard journey. Entrepreneurship, business ownership, it's hard.
It's a lot of hours behind closed doors that nobody sees. And like we spoke off camera with you, people don't see when the center is closed. They don't see what's happening. But you're cleaning, you're prepping for tomorrow, this and that. You're coming in early, prepping for this same day, and it's like people don't see that. They only see the hours that you're in.
It's like there's the old saying about the swan that glides on the water, but the feet are moving really fast, but it's graceful. And they only see the top. You see that swan just gliding along the water.
You don't see all the hard work.
You don't see the hard work, and that's what you try. I think as a company owner, as an entrepreneur, you try and make it like that. Because if you've done that part and it looks easy, I think that's the point in where you're being successful.
Okay.
Because,
like
we said earlier, people don't want to see the grind.
Yeah.
It's that weird thing that if they see all the hard work that goes into it, they almost forget about it. When it's successful and it's running, they forget about all of the hard work that got it to that point.
For sure.
If you can make it look really swimmingly easy, I think you're doing something right.
Oh yeah, definitely. What would be your message to the people for 2024?
Try it.
Try it.
Whatever it is, try it.
Anything.
Everyone in their head has a thing that they're thinking about doing. No matter who you are, you're thinking about doing it.
Is that just from business perspective, or even if it's just like a personal goal, just like try going gym, whatever?
You don't know how much time you've got. And you can always say, I'll do it next year. Oh, I'll try it next year. I'll start it next year.
Yeah.
I'll ask that girl out next month. Like there's, just do it now.
Yeah.
You don't know how much longer you've got to go.
Definitely.
And you can't do anything unless you actually give it a shot. Shoot your shot and actually just try it.
Well, like the saying, you miss all the shots that you don't take. Is that the saying? Something like that? Yeah. The super cliche saying. super cheesy saying.
Elsie really takes the mick out of me because every now and again I say really cliche things. And she's like, "Are you going to write that down on your little book?" Like,
Oh, damn.
I think what I said the other day, I said, and it's like complete accident, just accidentally comes out. I was like, change you're wrong to why do you think you're right?
Change your wrong to what I think. Interesting.
So rather than your mindset of thinking, Erik, you're wrong.
Yeah.
If I say to you, Erik, why do you think you're right?
Yeah.
I'm either going to learn why you think you're right, so it's going to teach me something, or I'm going to build a better argument as why I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm not just being arrogant in the fact that you're wrong.
Interesting. I like that. On that note, there was Alex Hormozy. Hormozy. He had an interesting saying where he said, why won't you accept it now if you know that you will accept it later on? And he was referring to, like, for example, if you're wearing something flashy now, but then you know that in the future you're going to be wearing something comfortable, why don't you just embrace it now and just wear something comfortable now?
Yeah, man.
And it's like, and then when you start thinking about it, like, there's a lot of things that you can probably do in that mindset and that will benefit your life, because eventually you'll be doing it anyway.
100%. I think so many people with social media fall into that trap and they try and act and be like everybody else. They see it as happy and they forget that it's just 9 times out of 10, it is an act. It's for the post, just for that 15 seconds.
Yep.
You're seeing 15 seconds of someone's life and that's it.
Yep.
That's not their 24 hours of the day. That is just their 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And I think people, it's a dangerous world. And it's getting, we spoke off camera about AI. It's getting more scary.
Oh, big time.
I think within a year's time, we'll have no concept of what is real and what has been generated.
100%. And I think, and I hope that people will still appreciate authenticity of actual creators, artists, and they will want specifically them to do their style and not kind of AI generated. But as time will show that, and we'll see where that goes. But it is it's a scary time, not dangerous.
I think things like this will always survive because it's people.
That's why I got into documentaries now, because I feel like documentaries is something that AI probably wouldn't be able to take over, at least in the near future, because you have to be physically present at the moment to shoot the moment rather than asking it to create, because that's not going to be authentic, if that makes sense. But an ad for a product or anything else can probably be replicated like this.
It can now. It literally can now.
Because you can probably upload an image of your product and say, create a video of that product in this scenario with this music. Nate showed me the music that AI created, and that's insane.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that already exists, and that's like to a crazy level.
And you throw that with like rendering.
Yep.
And like, so you can literally like use your phone to 3D scan an object now.
Mm-hmm.
So you throw your phone around and 3D object, throw that into AI image generation like Sora, or video generation. Like there's Stable Diffusion have now got video generation. So you throw it into something like that, and then within 30 minutes you've created a full video with music and voiceover that's indistinguishable from a human.
Crazy times we live in. Crazy times.
Yeah, I think we're going to go full circle. I think we'll end up at a point where people are craving real humans. Human contact.
That would be interesting to see how that will pan out and how people will go about life, because AI, even just the phone's taking over our lives very quickly at the moment. And younger generation, especially like my nephew, his phone does not leave his hand. It's literally a part of him at that point.
Yeah.
Myself, my phone is, if I don't have my
all
phone
the time,
I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Oh crap. So yeah. But yeah, do you want to tell people what else is going on? What can they expect? And maybe what else? Maybe another project that's coming up that I'm not aware of yet?
I think everything I've got at the moment is focusing on Fenrock. We're focusing on climbing. We're building a kids zone out the back, specializing in children's climbing.
Yeah.
We're working closely with local schools to bring in education.
Oh, nice.
We're doing a few outreach programs to bring climbing to people that might not necessarily find climbing on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just developing the site, developing our cafe, bringing in live music, just trying to create this into an event space as well as climbing space to hopefully build the community up. And yeah, like I spoke to earlier, it's frightening in the fact that I've kind of got to this 40-year-old point, realize I don't really value money in the way I thought when I was 20.
Yeah.
And now I just want to kind of chill out.
Take it back. Well, I mean,
Take
you
it back
basically
for a bit.
retired at this point. So
And that's
you can
scary.
chill
It's a
out.
scary thing to say, but it almost is like a soft retirement. Like we've
Yeah.
now got staff in that do all of our jobs for us.
Yeah. So delegating work was a big one, isn't it?
We can delegate the work. We can focus on the long-term goals of the business. But we're kind of at a point now where I guess it is like a soft retirement.
Mm.
And then it's a fact of coming to terms with the fact that I am in a soft retirement. And I always said my goal always was to retire at 40.
You got it.
That was my goal. I got to 40. I didn't ever want to be trapped anywhere at 40.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have enough money to do what I wanted to do. And I don't really travel. So really, I want enough money to play computer games, board games, and feed myself.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And that's what I find fun. That's me. I don't really, and kind of, I think like you say, when you get to the point where you've hit the goal that you set yourself, that's when you really start looking into what's next.
Yep, 100%. Nate, thank you for coming. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks,
and
man.
we'll definitely talk again. I think I want to keep that very happening more often with people that already came on.
Yeah.
Because then maybe a year later, you have more things going on. We'll talk again, maybe somewhere else, maybe another gym, maybe a new gym somewhere already. So you never know. But yeah, thank you for coming, man.
Thanks,
and,
Erik. Thanks a lot for coming out.